Welcome in Congressman Dan Meuser from the state of Pennsylvania. As you may know, Congressman was at that Trump rally in Butler, PA on Saturday. Your reaction to this latest report that we're getting about a threat against the former president, unrelated, we're told, to what happened on Saturday, but a threat nonetheless from Iran.
Yeah, hi, Connell. Hey, it's unfortunately, it's no surprise. This is coming from Iran. Iran is the center of terrorism for globally. They back Hamas, they back Hezbollah, they back the Houthis. Why the Biden administrations continue to have an inexplicable affinity for Iran along the way is pretty inexplicable in itself. So, yeah, look, the security is high for the president. Sometimes you wonder, wow, is all this necessary? But obviously it is, and for some other high-level officials. There was plenty of security around at the rally. We had Secret Service, we had Homeland Security. I talked with many, dozens and dozens. We did have the local police as well that was being managed and guided by the Secret Service, but clearly there was a serious lapse in the plan and a serious lapse in execution of any plan.
I want to ask you about that, but first, did you notice any, did it seem stepped up? You know, you've been to a lot of these Trump rallies. Now that we know that this threat was out there and the campaign had been told about it, did it seem stepped up within the perimeter?
It's hard to say. Obviously, it was outdoors. Again, I saw many. Again, Homeland, a few different divisions, all reporting to Homeland. It seemed as if there was ample security. It didn't seem to be lacking. There was a helicopter a couple of different times, and I saw either it was Secret Service or Homeland Security off perimeter, checking buildings and all prior to the shooting taking place.
All right, that raises the question. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. So let me go to our telestrator here because we have a map of that location that we've all seen so many times now. And the thing is, I bring this up that I would mention to you, we've talked about the distance already, right, being 400 feet to get over to this building where the shooter was, approximately to the stage where the president was. The Secret Service director told ABC News that there were actually officers inside that building from when they where they opened fire. But the other thing she said, I'll switch over to the animation that we made about that. She talked about the different perimeters, an inner perimeter. I think this is what you're getting at, Congressman. Inner perimeter and an outer perimeter when you have a big event like this, and that the warehouse, and I'll pause the animation here for a moment, or just let it play a little bit more. Pause it right there. The animation shows it here. The warehouse, they say, was actually inside what they call the outer perimeter. So, you know, for example, if this was the perimeter for Trump, is something like this, there would be an outer perimeter. Again, we don't know exactly, but just for the sake of argument, that might be out here, and then the warehouse is in here. So, but the local police are patrolling that. Where do you have any idea where the breakdown was in all of this? They were supposedly in the building, but not on the roof, maybe because it was sloped. I mean, that doesn't seem like a good reason to me, but.
Yeah, look, the shooting range should be the perimeter, right? And that is at least 500 yards, you know, perhaps even more, 600, 700 yards. And again, out in the outer perimeter, my understanding is that they direct the local police. But the local police, this isn't their main profession and their main skill set. They follow the lead of the Secret Service, i.e. via the Homeland Security. So the lapse began, unfortunately, at the top and on the ground. Now, let's face it, though, the Secret Service performed marvelously once the shooting occurred, and as well in taking out the shooter himself. But to leave that site open, and it was right behind me. It wasn't very far. I mean,
where were you standing again?
Looking at that
where were
line
you
of
exactly?
fire,
I forget.
Yeah, we were to the right of the president, so really right in the line of fire.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, the poor gentleman from Pennsylvania, Corey Compentori, was just no more than 20 feet from me, up, but he was about 6 or 7 feet high or elevated, and he was in the line of fire as he was protecting his daughter and his wife, and he was tragically killed. He was murdered. So. You know, so we were all right there, yeah, I know exactly where that building was. I certainly didn't hear anyone yelling. We see somebody up on the roof. We see a shooter. That must have been people further back into the crowd. But again, even that shows a terrible lapse of response.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.